All right, hi everybody. Today I want to talk about something that I don't think gets enough attention, and that is stress. So stay tuned and let's talk about how to handle it and deal with it. All right, so hi everybody, John Meadows here, and today I want to talk about a topic that I don't really think gets enough attention, and it's stress. I feel like when people talk about what is really bad for you, they talk about food and lack of exercise and all these things, which I don't disagree with. But if I had to pick out one thing that cuts your lifespan and really decreases the quality of your life, I would say it's stress. You know, stress in small amounts is a good thing, and I would argue that we need it to survive. If you look at when you go to the gym, you apply stress to muscles, they get better. If you're maybe nervous about giving a speech or doing a seminar or talking, you're going to get kind of stressed out, but it'll give you a little bit of energy and a little bit of a jolt, and you can kind of make your way through it. So I feel like stress is it's built into us for a reason, and short-term acute stress is a very good thing. But here's where things go sideways. So especially, like, I don't think it was like this 20 or 30 years ago, but in today's world, everything is so fast-paced. Everybody's trying to keep up with, oh, Joe Bob got a car, so I'm going to get a nicer car than him, or so-and-so's got 100,000 followers, so I need 110,000. I only got 100 likes yesterday. I needed 120 likes. You know, it's just, everything seems like it's a rat race. And instead of focusing on kind of the quality of your relationships and things like that, people get wrapped up on all this stuff and they're constantly stressed out. And then you take it to another level. Okay, now what about their jobs? Oh, I'm stressed out because I might get laid off, or I hate my job. You know, you go to a job and you spend a third of your life there, and if you hate that 8 hours, that's a third of your life that you hate. And then you go to another level in stress, and that's like your relationships. I look at it that way. You know, I'm getting a divorce, or I'm having trouble with my kids. My kids don't want to see me. You know, very, very challenging situations that kind of hang over your head and really stress you out. Or then you get the combination of all that. You know, your relationships are bad, your job is bad, you're totally addicted to social media and things like that, and all that stuff is really bad. And the reason why I wanted to talk about that today is because I feel like it has a very negative effect on your progress in the gym and in your results. And I think it has a negative effect on your metabolism. I think it can actually make you fatter. And the reason why I say that is because, you know, if you think about, if you ask somebody, I've worked with thousands of clients, and one of the things that happens when they overeat, it's usually sweets. And I'll ask them, you know, why did you do it? And many, many times it ties back to a stress. There's something that was very stressful that was happening in their life that causes them to do this. And a lot of times it's not hunger, it's something else. I was having relationship troubles. I can't begin to tell you how many times I see that. So what happens is stress. I feel like not only do people stress eat, I feel like they crave sugar. And that is probably not a good thing, right? And then if you look at what happens when your cortisol levels increase. So when you're stressed out, your body kind of goes into this fight or flight, sympathetic nervous system mode, where your adrenaline, your cortisol, your noradrenaline, all that stuff kind of elevates. And so what happens is your cortisol levels are going up constantly. And when your cortisol levels go up constantly, your insulin levels actually go up. And when your insulin levels are always going up, you know, sometimes I feel like that can cause your body to crave sugar, or your blood sugar will go down. But one thing that we know, and we see this a lot with sleep deprivation studies, when you take people down to 4 hours of sleep a night, you see their cortisol levels go up, you see their insulin levels go up, and you see their insulin sensitivity go down. That's kind of the three things that happen. And then you start to see their leptin levels, which is kind of a satiety hormone that your fat cells produce, actually goes down. So people can't tell when they're satiated. And their ghrelin, that's a hormone that your stomach produces. It's a hunger hormone, and it goes up. So people get hungry. They can't tell when they're full. They crave sugar. They have increased insulin, increased cortisol. So all of those things happening are kind of components to long-term chronic stress. So that's my short story on how stress can be bad for you trying to hit your physique goals. So how do you manage those things? Well, I'm just going to throw out a couple tips that I think you might find beneficial. Number one, I really think some of this stuff is the outlook you have on life. I think sometimes people take things a little too serious. In 2005, I was very sick. I had a disease that put me in the hospital and almost killed me. And what I can tell you is when I lived through that, my perspective of what a big deal was dramatically different. I went back to work at the bank, and even the people at the bank were like, wow, you don't seem like the same person. And I didn't feel like the same person, because what I used to think was a really big deal at the bank, it wasn't. Like, well, customers aren't losing money, everything's gonna be fine, we just need to fix this tomorrow. We don't need to work until 2 in the morning. And, so that was kind of a hammer to the head way. Hopefully you don't need a hammer to your head to kind of back off and take things a little less seriously. But just when you find yourself getting stressed, I want you to ask yourself, is this really worth it? Is it that big of a deal? If somebody on social media calls you a name or says something bad about you, is it really worth getting worked up about it and losing sleep over it and getting stressed out? So don't be so sensitive. Just realize that things aren't necessarily a big deal. So your outlook on life. Okay, the second thing I would do is I'd really focus on sleep. A lot of times when you're stressed out, you lay there in bed and you know how you're tired, but your mind just keeps spinning and you keep thinking and thinking, but you can't fall asleep. Again, the sleep deprivation can lead to a whole number of issues. So I would encourage you to try to get 8 hours of sleep. If you have trouble sleeping, try turning off your electronics an hour or two before you go to sleep. If you have to use like your phone, make sure you turn the blue light off of it, so the blue light's not telling your melatonin to be secreted when you need it to be increasing. Keep your room where you sleep nice and cool. I try to tell people to keep it under 69 degrees, keep it nice and cool. If it's real hot, you'll have a hard time falling asleep. Keep it really dark. You don't want any light in there. Some people actually have blackout shades where they can't even see their hand in front of their face. So really focus on sleep. Get into a routine that really helps you sleep. Now, if you still have trouble, make sure you take a half-hour nap the next day. It doesn't completely reverse your sleep debt, but it can give you a lot of recovery. Specifically, you're in non-REM sleep, and that type of sleep is very restorative physically. So focus on your sleep. Your outlook of life, number one. Your sleep, number two. And then the third thing I would do is I would just say don't miss workouts. Exercise. Exercise is a nice way to take all that energy and kind of burn it off. There's a lot of times when I wake up and I'm stressed from something, my job or something, my kids. And when I go train, when I get done, I walk out of the gym, and I'm sure many of you can relate, I just feel like a new person. Like all that stress is gone. So, kind of get it out of you. And then the fourth and the last little tip I want to give you on managing stress is don't forget, there's a TV shows where you can phone a friend, right? When you need an answer, phone a friend. Like, don't forget about your social relationships, your friends' relationships. A lot of times if I don't feel good, I'm feeling a little down, I'll call a friend, I might call Scott Stevenson, I might call somebody and just talk to him, and I'll feel a lot better after I talk to him, just to talk to a friend. And that sounds simple, but a lot of people don't do that now. A lot of people totally rely on electronic communication. They don't actually talk to people, And so I would encourage you, when you talk to people, when you enrich kind of your social reactions with people, you'll feel your stress levels going down, all right? So let me wrap those four up again. All right, I got to think of the four again. So it was, don't take everything so serious. Make sure you get good sleep, exercise, and phone a friend, right? Enhance those social connections. If you do those four things, I think you'll find that your stress levels are certainly getting better, and I think that'll be a catalyst in helping you achieve your physique goals and your health and fitness goals. So thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Let me know what you think. Tell me about a time where you were stressed and something you did to alleviate it below. Let's all help each other out. Thank you.